What's up, guys? Ninth Gym here, back with another tournament results video. We've got a meta-analysis today, everybody. Victory Road, welcome to Paldea Tour. It just concluded yesterday, so very new, very relevant. And yeah, it's Victory Road VGC. So I'll link this page down in the description below if you guys want to go ahead and check it out for yourself. Look at all the team compositions and usage stats by yourself. That is, you know, completely good. 465 players, a lot of players. It's a lot of people. 9 Swiss rounds and then X2 top cut with single elimination from there. There's closed team sheets and public Terra types, which is a little bit different from the upcoming format that we are going to be following. So, you know, we have these posts, but they really only talk about the Terra type. So we're not going to be paying as much mind to that as we usually do. Victory Road VGC, I'm going to link this down in the description below, so definitely check it out. You know, follow them on Twitter. It's a really good resource for Twitter. You'll get to keep up with a lot of tournaments, tournament results, and all that kind of stuff. I will be, you know, also covering those, so definitely follow the channel, subscribe. But let's get into it. We have a lot of teams today to cover and usage stats, so let's just jump right in. Starting off, we have Adrian Hurley, Colding Light, with a really cool team. We have Torkoal, Dondozo, Tatsugiri. We have Gothitelle, Palmot, which is interesting, something we don't see very frequently, and Meowscarada. So a really interesting team. Trick Room team with Dondozo, Tatsugiri. Trick Room, something we kind of have been lacking in the format, other than like maybe Armor Rouge. We haven't seen a lot of it. And I was definitely thinking Gothitelle would be a pretty, you know, used Trick Room setter in the format. It's pretty good. It has access to Fake Out and screens potentially. It has Trick Room. It's pretty bulky. It has some really annoying abilities. The not being able to switch out ability, as well as Frisk, which is just good. It has a lot of options. Gothitelle's really solid and one of the better Trick Room setters that we have in a non-restricted, non-even legendary, like base Pokédex format. So it's pretty cool. We've got Torkoal on the team as our primary, you know, Trick Room user, Trick Room advantage taker. I don't know. It's pretty good. And then we have Meowscarada here as well. So a pretty interesting Firewater Grass core that doesn't really like play by the standard rules. We also have Palmot, which is really interesting. Are we using the Revival Blessing move? Is that even usable? I believe it is, but yeah, it's pretty weird. We do see Steel type on the Dondozo, which has been pretty standard. It's one of the main types. It's that or Dragon usually, as, you know, taking up the bulk of the usage stats of Terra typing for Dondozo. So really cool team. I really do wish we could see like everything about these teams, but we can't yet. So whatever, it's okay. We'll probably see them on Twitter. So a lot of really cool things on the team. Meowscarada is interesting, something you don't see every day, but it's a lot, for sure. We have it actually at 3 out of top 4 of the slots, which is pretty interesting because I think the Pokemon's really good, especially like the Choice Band build with like powerful, strong stab, sucker punches. Redundant, powerful, strong. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think this team's really cool, and it's nice seeing Dondozo Tatsugiri in first place because that really seemed to have taken a very, like, it fallen off. It seemed to have fallen off here, and it's the only one in top 8 with another one just shy of top 8. So very, very cool seeing it up here. Next, we have Nick Navarre, Nails, pretty strong player, with a really interesting team that features Gargonicle and King Gambit as well. We also do see the Amoonguss, Arcanine, Gyarados, and Gothitelle. So seeing Gothitelle here, 2 out of like top 2, you know, first and runner-up, which is pretty interesting because this team doesn't seem like it's a super Trick Room team. Kind of wanted to stay away from Trick Room in this finals matchup, I would imagine, because that Torkoal is so like dirty under this, especially if it's like, you know, I mean, it's underspeeding the Amoonguss, presumably, and that's pretty good. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Nails with the team with the Gargonicle as well, the only Gargonicle in top 8, which is pretty cool because Gargonicle is pretty cool. I like that guy. I think it does a lot of damage, and not damage. I think it does a lot of work in this format, being a ridiculous physical wall and being able to have that like constant damage of also not being able to take damage. It's just overall a really interesting mon in the format, and I'm hyped to see it. King Gambit also being in the second place team is really interesting. We saw that a little bit in the Nino Pokebros tour that I covered like a week or two weeks ago maybe, and yeah, it's pretty interesting. Let's see if it's the water one. Fairy. So I don't really know about that, but yeah, pretty cool. In third place, we have Maddie Morgan with a really interesting team that features the Mousehold. So we are seeing a lot of variance, you know. Last time that I did a meta-analysis, we were really talking about like Hydreigon and Garchomp and Golden Go. These are the first Hydreigon and Golden Go's that we're seeing. We haven't even seen a Murkrow yet. We do in the next team down, in Donnie Darko's team here in fourth place. But, you know, that's not a lot of them, which is pretty cool. So, you know, first Golden Go and Hydreigon not making it in first or second place, which is pretty interesting because, you know, a week ago, that would have been first and second and third and fourth place probably, all using those mons. So it's pretty cool seeing, you know, quite a mix-up in the format. We also see the Annihilate, which is the first one of top 4, and then another following it. And yeah, this third and fourth place teams are the more closely, you know, related to the teams that we were seeing last week. So we're seeing, you know, quite a bit of variance in the format. Actually, a lot of variance in top 4 with a Dindozo Tatsugiri team. We have multiple Trick Room teams. We have finally a Hydreigon Golden Go team, and then a Murkrow, like a Tailwind setup team with Armor Rouge as well. And yeah, it's just pretty cool. So really cool team here. Annihilate, Meowscarada, and the Azumarill. Azumarill is cool. I like Azumarill a lot. I wonder if it's like the belly drum stuff. We can't really see it, but I am curious about that. Oh, we do see Flying Golden Go, which is actually pretty cool. You know, gets around that Earthquake that is very strong in the format, although it's not really shown off that much here in the top 4. We don't see too much, although it's probably on the Gyarados. It's probably on the Dindozo, so I don't know. They're still there for sure. In fourth place, we have Darko here with a really cool team that features the Amoonguss, Armor Rouge. I don't know why I said Amoonguss. With Mousehold, the Annihilate, Murkrow, Indeedee, and Meowscarada. So, you know, we're finally seeing another of the Armor Rouge Indeedee team, the first one in the top cut here. And that team is really solid. I am a big fan of Indeedee Armor Rouge. I think it's been a really, you know, it's really shown off. I talked about it a lot in the first like week of VGC when we still, you know, thought maybe the Paradox Pokemon would be in the game. And I said it was like a weaker combo. And now that those are gone, Dindozo Tatsugiri taking first and Armor Rouge and Indeedee taking fourth, it's like, yeah, these things are really, really powerful. So yeah, it's good. 2 Mouseholds in top 4, which is really cool too. So I'm really curious of Mousehold. I should probably, you know, do some stuff with Mousehold here soon, but I think it's a pretty cool Pokemon. And rounding off our top 4, now we are into top 8, and we have Arash Amamati, which is a really strong player. I'm pretty sure that's a world champ. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. But a really cool team seeing a Kilowattrel and a Talonflame, so two Tailwind-setting birds, potentially. We see our first Garchomp in top 8, which is cool, and in a Flying-type Gengar, which is pretty cool. So a lot of really cool things here. Gengar, we talked about, you know, a week ago when Fed Campo won something. Was that the Nino Pokebros tour? I think so. Or no, that was the other Victory Road tour. Yeah. Really cool team. You know, that was the Triple Ghost team, the one that I covered in a video as well, and that was really cool. So seeing the Gengar once again is really interesting. You know, with a lot of like Earth stuff going around, you have, or like Earthquake. That's why I said Earth, not ground. But yeah, you have a lot of like ground stuff going around with like Garchomp, and I guess it's really just Garchomp, but yeah, you have a lot of Garchomp going around. So being able to like fly and get rid of that is pretty crazy. And we also see a Gardevoir, something that I didn't even mention so far because, you know, Kilowattrel and Gengar. But yeah, really cool team featuring Gardevoir. I'm really curious what Gardevoir is doing. Water type? Okay, that's pretty cool. Really interested there. Wish we had full Pokepaste, but we don't. In 6th place, we have Peng with a really cool, solid team here. I know I've called every single team cool, but I think these teams are really cool. They're, you know, going away from they're varying a little bit in usage, right? So we have a Grimmsnarl, first Grimmsnarl here in top 8. I know I've said that about every single Pokemon that's new, but there's a lot of variance. I mean, coming from last tournament, we were seeing so many high usage stat Pokemon at the top, you know, Golden Go, Hydreigon, Amoonguss, Garchomp. We were seeing all of them. Now we're seeing them not in troves. We're seeing them on one team. It's really cool. 2 Hydreigons in top 8. 2 Garchomps in top 8. 2. Just 2. It's pretty crazy. Just seeing that from like week to week. It's just a lot of difference here. Azumarill, Amoonguss, Murkrow, Annihilate, Grimmsnarl, Hydreigon. Pretty solid team. All in all, just, you know, not doing too much different stuff. Like, not too crazy. I wonder if yeah, all these Annihilates are fire type, which is really cool. So it means we're probably gonna be like the bulk up style, because otherwise, like if your choice Scarf Final Gambiting, it doesn't really matter too much if you go Will-O-Wisp, but if you're like bulk up sub, you definitely don't want to get Will-O-Wisp. So being able to like fire type and not be Will-O-Wisp is like crazy. It's a free Lumberry. It's broken. So I like that a lot. I talked about that with like Garchomp on that one team that I built, and like, wow, it's really good. I think fire type Terra for physical type Mons is really good. I think that's a really interesting thing that we get to see now in the format, and it's really good. In 7th place, we have Oppo with a Volcarona, Rotom, Amoonguss, Corviknight, and the Grimmsnarl and Garchomp. So a really cool team here. I know, really cool team, right? Every team is cool. Volcarona. We don't see Volcarona every day. It's probably, you know, Quiverdan setup Mon next to the Amoonguss potentially. And we also might have that with Rotom Wash being like and the Garchomp. There's a lot of potential, and Corviknight could be bulk up. So you have a lot of potential, a lot of fire type guys here, which is cool. Like the Amoonguss is going fire type and stuff. Like that's pretty crazy. So we're seeing a lot of defensive, actually fire Garchomp for the Will-O-Wisp protection and Ghost Grimmsnarl for the Fake Out protection. So we're seeing a lot of like defensive Terra typing here, which is really cool. There's like a lot of, you know, variants here because you can Terra type any of these Pokemon and get like a buff accordingly. And like Volcarona being able to go into grass and just like not really care about like rock slides from Garchomps and stuff. Pretty cool, pretty cool. I like that a lot. In rounding off our top 8, we have Casper with another Torkoal team, which is interesting, and another Gardevoir. I'm really curious on what we're seeing these Gardevoirs for. We also have a Lilligant with the Torkoal, which makes sense, and then we have the Maushold, Kingambit, and Indeedee. Indeedee missing its friend Armarouge here, which is really interesting because Indeedee, I mean, I guess maybe it's setting up for the Psychic Gardevoir. Is it Psychic type Gardevoir? It's water. I don't know. It's a copy of 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 nice. Cool. Yeah, really interesting seeing so many Gardevoir. And by so many Gardevoir, any more than 0 Gardevoir is really what I mean there. 2 Gardevoirs. I'm really curious on why Gardevoir is so popular here. 2 out of top 8. That's pretty popular for, you know, such a niche Mon, I would think. They're both taking water type too. So there's definitely something there that I do not know. There's definitely something there. Next, we have Shuhei with a really cool Dundozo Tatsugiri team. It's featuring Sylveon. We've got the Meowscarada, the Arcanine, and the Golden Go as well. A couple more used Pokemon, things like the Golden Go and the Meowscarada. Meowscarada definitely seems to be not like the niche Pokemon that I thought it was going to be, opening up into, you know, the format. I thought it was definitely going to be like pretty niche. Choice Band, Sucker Punch is good. Flower Trick is really good. But there's also like Focus Sash builds that let you kind of just like take 2 attacks, but I think the Choice Band Sucker Punch damage is like ridiculous with the Pokemon. So I don't know. It's pretty cool though. And then in 10th place, we finally see a a Drizzle team, a rain team. This is something that we've just missed from the format entirely. I think it's been very, very slept on. Not really slept on because I also think it's really not incredible. I think it's cool. You know, Pelipper is solid. So it has Drizzle and Tailwind. I mean, that's really good. You have Hurricane on a Drizzle setter, which is like really good. You know, it's like having Blizzard on your Snow setter. It's just a good move for that. And then you also have Barraskewda, which is like the only usable Swift Swim Pokemon we have. We don't have Kingdra, we don't have Ludicolo. We just don't have good Swift Swimmers in the format. But maybe we see something weird on this. No, it's just water. So it's just going for powerful Aqua Jets. But we also have the Palafin on the team, which once again can go for powerful jet punches in the rain. That can be probably ridiculous, probably just absolutely ridiculous. We also see a Farigiraf on the team, which I think is really cool because Farigiraf is a really interesting Mon. It's definitely one that I thought was going to be really niche and like not that good, but it's a solid Trick Room like setter. It has stab hyper voices with potentially throat spray. It has a lot of going for it actually, and the ability to, you know, immune your entire team from Fake Out and like taunt and stuff. It's just really good. Well, from prankster Mons, but those are like the main taunt users, like Murkrow. So yeah, it's pretty good though. Definitely, I like Farigiraf. I think it's a good Pokemon. In 11th place, we have Daniel with another really cool team. You like that? I'm gonna call every team a really cool team, but this is one of the less cool teams because it kind of follows that, you know, Murkrow, Hydreigon, Golden Go, Garchomp build. We have a choice. It's not guaranteed to be Choice Scarf. It just feels like it is. It just feels like it is, right? Fighting type, that's usually giveaway. I feel like a lot of the bulk up sub builds are definitely Fire type, Terra type. Not always. Not always. But we have Maushold here as well, which is the, you know, the thing that like kind of strays from the norm for the team. But yeah, it's not that it's like a basic team, but it's like kind of a basic team. Hydreigon, Golden Go, Murkrow, Garchomp. These are the Pokemon we saw last week. But being, you know, they're pretty not like overly used here in this tournament specifically. So it's pretty cool still. And next we have Binji Wang using, once again, a very similar team to this. It has the Murkrow, the Golden Go. You have your Armor Rouge, missing the Indeedee. You have Grimmsnarl, and then the Annihilate Mousehold, which seems to be pretty, most of the Mouseholds are on a team with the Annihilate. Both of them in top 4. Both of them here. We have one Annihilate here and one Mousehold here without them. What's going on with that? Is there a synergy there? Maybe there's a synergy there. I don't know. But we see another Fire Annihilate, and yeah, pretty cool. Grass Armor Rouge is really solid. Being able to have that like Flash Fire immunity to the fire, making Grass pretty solid defensively, while also having a pretty powerful Terra Blast that can knock out the water Pokemon that would usually threaten Armor Rouge. So pretty cool, pretty cool. In 13th place, we have Marcus Statter, really good player, with another Tatsugiri Dondozo team with the Golden Go and Hydreigon. No Murkrow on the team, but we do see Talonflame instead, which is pretty interesting. But we do see that Fire Water Grass core here with the Meowscarada as well as the trio. Pretty solid. Not too much more to say here. You know, most of these Pokemon are pretty standard. Talonflame over Murkrow is interesting because Murkrow has definitely solidified its place as the main Tailwind setter of primarily in the format, I think. So pretty cool. Next we have Francesco with another Cerulege, actually the first Cerulege, which is pretty cool. We were talking about Cerulege the other day, you know, with the Triple Ghost team by Fed Campo, and that was really interesting. And Cerulege actually completely surprised me in usage here. It's really good against like the Trick Room stuff, as it can take that Spore or the grass Terra type and not get spored, and that's very good. And it also can set up with Bulk Up, which could be really good, and it can hit Bitter Blade into things and just gain back the health, and it's just really good. It surprised me. I thought it was not very good, and then I found out, oh, it actually has really strong, not incredibly niche uses, and it's not a bad Pokemon at all. Next, we have Marco Silva with another pretty basic team here. Not like too crazy, but not crazy. You know, you have a Rotom Wash and a Sylveon and an Annihilate, and then you got your Golden Girl with the Murkrow and the Grimmsnarl. Pretty solid stuff. Nothing too crazy. Joshua Diamond with the Dreadnought and Toxtricity and Sableye and Serena. Actually, just a very weird team. We do see another Rain team, which is cool because 2 Rain teams in top 16. Unfortunately, neither of them made it past top 16, got to top 8, but we'll take it. You know, that's still pretty cool. I'll take it as a win for Rain because Rain was non-existent before this, so we'll take it as a win for the Rain teams. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. I wonder what Toxtricity is doing. Is it normal type? It is. That's cool. So like normal type with the Boom Burst stuff is pretty solid. So yeah, it's cool. It's not crazy, but it's cool seeing it in top 16 of like a major. I mean, this is like pretty close to major. Well, yeah, it's like pretty close to major size. So like almost 500 players. It's not bad. It's pretty big. It's pretty big for an online tournament. So next we have Conan with Skeledirge, which is pretty cool. Something we don't see very frequently, but it's grass type, which is interesting. So it's like that grass like slack off build, which is pretty cool. You know, like leftover slack off probably. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like it. I like it. I like it. Grimmsnarl, Garchomp, Hydreigon. Other than that, like pretty normal stuff here. Mao with another Dondozo, Tatsugiri team. Now that we're out of top 16, that's like the payout price support, you know, amount of people. So we're gonna just like blaze through the rest of these here. Pretty much just gonna talk about like the cool stuff. We got another team pretty similar to this one, actually. Yeah, pretty similar. You see another Gargonicle, which is pretty cool. I like Gargonicle. I think it's a solid Pokemon. It's grass type, Terra type, which is pretty cool. Pretty solid defensively, I would imagine. So I like that. I like that. We got another Rain team here with Pelipper and Palafin being the only one. We're just going for really powerful Jet Punches, which is really interesting. And then you have like Meowscarada getting rid of its fire weakness, which is pretty solid. So same with the Amoonguss. So not bad. Pretty cool team. We have Breloom here, which is pretty cool. You know, faster Spore user, pretty solid. We have a Tinkaton. Guys, look, it's a Tinkaton. On a snow team that doesn't have any other Snowmons, is Tinkaton ice? I don't know. Watered Abomasnow? I don't know. It just wants to set up the Aurora Veil, I guess. Pretty weird. Pretty cool. Another Palmot and a Tinkaton. I like Tinkaton. I think it's a good Pokemon. It's not It has like this crazy typing. It has fake out. It has a really cool signature move, but it's just like held back by its like mediocre stats and not amazing abilities. Like it has like okay abilities, right? It has like pickpocket and like something else, infiltrator maybe. I don't know. They're like all right. Like they're like usable, but not incredible. I don't know. It should have like huge power. Huge power Gigaton Hammer. No thank you. No thank you. I'm just kidding. It shouldn't have that. Next we got another like pretty standard team here using Talonflame instead. It's pretty cool seeing like Talonflames pop up instead of Murkrow, because Murkrow has just like solidified itself as the primary Tailwind setter. I said that earlier. I don't know why I'm saying it again. But another really cool like Pelipper team. No Swift Swim user. I mean, like I said earlier, the Swift Swim Pokemon, we have like Dreadnought and Barraskewda. It's, I don't know, not incredible. We got a Salamence though. Salamence is weird. Salamence is funny. Flying type. It's pretty cool. Salamence is like weird, but now it has Terra Blast, which gives it like a solid physical, like it doesn't have like Brave Bird or anything. So, you know, you have to use Fly, and it's like, that was only good in Dynamax. Like it doesn't have access to a good flying stab physical move, and now it does, which is pretty cool. You know, you have Terra Blast for that. So that's pretty cool. But it does mean like you have to Dynamax it, and it's like, I don't know. You definitely want to Dynamax. You definitely want to Terra your Palafin a lot here on this team, I would imagine. Or like maybe the Kingambit, probably Mousehold too. I don't know. It seems weird, but cool. Then we have another Kilowattrel, which I think is pretty cool. I think Kilowattrel is interesting in the format because its ability is like really good, right? So you use Tailwind and then you get charged, and that's like pretty solid, but I don't know. It's not as good as Murkrow. It's not Murkrow because it doesn't have Prankster. Like, it doesn't have priority, and same with Tailwind or like Talonflame. It has priority a lot of the time. So I don't know. Kilowattrel seems like the third or fourth best Tailwind user. Probably like third probably. You know, Murkrow, Talonflame, Kilowattrel, and Kilowattrel is like kind of on the same level as like Corviknight maybe. It's probably better than Corviknight. Corviknight's not that crazy. Another Armarouge and DD, another Armarouge and DD, which is cool. Mudsdale, which is interesting. You know, some pretty simple, or like some pretty unique things here, which is pretty cool. Especially like as we're diving down, like, you know, into Top Cut, but not in like playoffs. Like day 2, but not Top Cut. You know what I mean? And pretty solid. You know, we have a Mimikyu here as well with the Torkoal. So like Mimikyu is another really good Trick Room setter in the format, and I think it's really weird we're not seeing like more Trick Room, but I mean, that was before today because it got first and second, like Trick Room teams did. And yeah, Ferrograph, pretty cool. Gargonicle. I'm kind of going off the rails now because we're like pretty deep into these, you know. The first Tyranitar. Wait, is this really the first Tyranitar? I was expecting Tyranitar to do a little bit better, but we see like the Sandville, presumably Garchomp as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know why I clicked on that expecting more. I guess like I wanted to see Rock or Ghost for the Tyranitar. I guess that's why I clicked on it. Another Abomasnow without any other ice Pokemon. So I don't know. Yeah, Aurora Veil is good, and Blizzard's like solid on the Pokemon, but I don't know. And like being able to switch to water is like pretty cool. Like being able to Terra it is like pretty cool. So I get it. But then do you get the snow buff, like the special defense buff? I don't think you do. I don't think you would, because you don't actually keep your old typing. You just retain stab. I don't know. You still get Aurora Veil up though. And Blizzard's still regular stab. I like it. And then if they like threaten you with a fire type, like they Terra their own Hydreigon and go for a Heat Wave, just like does no damage, and you Terra Blast and kill it. All right. That's got to be it. They're doing stuff like that. Then we've got a couple more, you know, interesting Mons here. Another Mousehold, Weavile, and another Ceruledge. That's pretty cool. What's Weavile? Ghost? Sure. Sure. You can't fighting type. You hit him with a fighting type, and you're just like, okay, you tried. You tried, bud. We got a Beartic, which is another Swift Swim Pokemon for some reason, which is weird. It's also water. That's cool. Actually, I like that, because then you like have an actual Swift Swim user. Not that Beartic's like incredible as a Swift Swim user. Like our Swift Swim users are just mid, in my opinion. It gets Swift Swim, right? I know it gets Slush Rush. I'm pretty sure it gets both. Pretty sure Beartic gets both. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember for sure. We have Hariyama here, which is pretty cool. But not a Trick Room set. Wait, Ceruledge probably gets it. Ceruledge probably gets Trick Room. Some more Stiff. some more stuff. We got an Oranguru. Oranguru is a Pokemon that I really like. It was one of my first Trick Room, like my first one of my first. I started in 2017, and Oranguru was on my first team, competitive team. So I don't know, it just has a special place in my heart. So does Torkoal Lilligant. Fun facts if you didn't know. Yeah, pretty cool. Tatsugiri Dondozo, another Palmont, pretty cool. A couple more, nothing too crazy. Satitan with the Abomasnow. There's finally an ice Pokemon on an Abomasnow team. And yeah, nothing too fancy. Yeah, like this stuff is like cool and fancy, but we already talked about it a few times. Shout out Joe though. Shout out Joe UX9. Crazy. He's crazy. Check him out on YouTube. All right, going through. Got usage stats, everybody. I'm really far into this video already. I'm like 25 minutes into recording. So yeah, let's just jump right into usage stats. So first off, we have Hydreigon here at number 1, which it shouldn't be a lot of surprise that it's number 1, but it should be like according to the beginning of the usage stats, right? Like there was 1 in top 4 and 2 in top 8. So you would think that Hydreigon just like wasn't that popular in the tournament, but in all actuality, it was really popular in the tournament, but just had a bad conversion rate. Like not very many Hydreigon teams really made it to top, right? It's the most used Pokemon, but there was only 2 of it in top 8. So like that definitely goes to show that Hydreigon is really like falling off. People are using answers to it, and there are now answers. There's counterplay to these really impressive mons, right? Like last week, we saw 6 out of top 8 teams had Hydreigon, and now we're seeing only 2 out of top 8 Hydreigons, and we're seeing like we're seeing a lot of adaptations is what I'm seeing. We're seeing a lot more things that can deal with it. We're seeing Trick Room that can deal with these powerful Murkrow teams that are just like doing fast stuff, right? You have Trick Room just really, really doing well in the competition. So it's really cool to see, you know, such meta shifts mid-format. We're also seeing Golden Go and Garchomp as numbers 2 and 3, which once again, last week in the tournaments, we were seeing these Pokemon just everywhere, right? We were seeing them 6, 7 placements in top 8. Day 2, we were seeing 50% usage stats. Here we're seeing that for the overall tournament. Well, I guess this is probably, wait, I'm confused. 18 out of 220? I don't really know what, I'm really confused on what this is. I don't know. 47% usage stat, 46, 45. These are incredibly high numbers, and for the top 8 to be like barely any, there's 1 Golden Go in top 8. 2 Garchomps and 2 Hydreigons in all of top 8. This just means that there's so much counterplay to these Pokemon, it's like insane. So we're seeing such a ridiculous shift from last week into this week. People are just prepared. They're preparing for these threats, right? Golden Go, Hydreigon, Garchomp. You now set up Trick Room, you have Haze, you have things to stop their setup from the Nasty Plot Golden Go. You have ways to outspeed it with Trick Room or like your own kind of stuff. You have Meowscarada being able to choice band sucker punch the guy. Just knock it out. You have counterplay to all of these situations now, and their conversion rate is just kind of not great. It's not incredible. You're seeing a lot of more niche mons, you know, just going up. Like look at Mousehold, top 10 of usage stats. That's just pretty cool to see. We're seeing Murkrow here, and this is a no-brainer. I mean, this should be honestly a little higher. Like these Pokemon should probably not be as high as like the actual Pokemon that makes them very strong with the priority Tailwind. But it makes sense. It makes sense. Well, I'm surprised we're not seeing as many glue Pokemon. Like 6 and 7 are Amoonguss and Grimmsnarl, which are like the main glue Pokemon of the format, and they're down here at 6 and 7, under like Meowscarada and like Garchomp, Golden Go, like all these Pokemon that probably shouldn't be as popular, but they are, and that's pretty cool. We're seeing top 8 being Annihilate, which is really cool. I think Annihilate is a really solid Pokemon in the format. Definitely a threat. Definitely something you should be aware of in the format. And it's cool seeing it get like the amount of recognition it deserves. That's 2 different really incredible builds. You know, you have the Choice builds, and you also have the or like the Choice Scarf Final Gambit build, and then you also have like the sub bulk up build. Both are really, really good. So Mousehold, we're seeing Sylveon all the way up here in top 10, which is cool. That's something I expected at the beginning of the format before we really saw like actual tournament play and stuff. So seeing it here is good. I'm excited to see it here. Then we have Armarouge with Indeedee being much farther down. I guess like 5 spots isn't too much farther down, but it's still pretty far down comparatively. Red and Wash is all the way down here at 12, which is like kind of low for the Pokemon, but admittedly pretty standard for it. I think like, I don't know. I think that's a fine place to be. Same with Arcanine, 13. That's not bad at all. Kingambit here at 14. Indeedee. Skeledirge at 16 is pretty impressive to me. Also, terrible conversion rate. Not a single one in top 8. Is there a single one in top 16? There's no, it's 17th. There's not a single Skeledirge in the actual top cut, like finalized results, top 16. Not a single one. So a lot of Skeledirge brought, none in top cut. Yikes. Or like none in, you know, payout, prize support range. Another Gengar. Well, Gengar is pretty cool. Cerulege being this high is pretty weird, but I'm definitely going to give that one to Fed Campo, bringing a lot of usage to that. He really explained it in his video really well that, you know, it's primarily like a Trick Room counter for really good against like the Amoonguss and stuff like that. And it's just really strong in general. Can eat attacks and then, you know, set up with bulk up. It's just really good. Cerulege is definitely way better than I thought. I thought it was bad. Dragonite being all the way down here at 19 is pretty impressive. Or not impressive. Pretty surprising to me. I thought that Pokemon would be a lot higher in usage stats, but we've seen it really falling off. You know, it was like a top 10 Mon before like the transition. It seemed better with Chi and Pao, for sure. A lot of strategies were better with Chi-Yu and Chi and Pao, but a lot of things were worse with this Pokemon because like things couldn't take advantage of it as well as Pokemon like this. And we have Gyarados down here. This makes sense. This is a pretty good place for Gyarados. Same with Tyranitar, Dindozo, Tatsugiri. These are both, like, these should have the exact same usage stat every time. If you bring this, you should bring this. If you bring this, you should bring this. That's just how it is. Torkoal, no Lilligant in the top 30. So, you know, you see a lot of Lilligant taken away from the Torkoal teams, and that just makes sense. That's perfectly fine. Talonflame all the way down here when Murkrow is all the way up here. That's fine. I think that's a pretty solid, like Murkrow is 5 times better than Talonflame in, you know, in practice. I've seen that. I think it's much better than Talonflame most of the time. Obviously not on every team, like, because Talonflame does damage. Talonflame has access to Quick Guard, which is cool. I don't know. You know, it has some, they're different Pokemon. Volcarona down here, this is a good place for it. Garganical as well, this is a good place for it. Like top 30 usage stats. It's not like a top 10 Mon, it's not a top 5 Mon, but I expect it in tournaments. Same with Breloom. Palafin is cool. I kind of wish it was more used and a little bit better, but I think it's really good nonetheless. And seeing Hariyama up here in top 30, pretty cool. That's about it. That's about all we've got for the video today. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, especially subscribe. If there's one thing you do today, it should be subscribe to the channel. That's going to be it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.